If you care deeply about what other people think of you, it's not because you're insecure, it's because your authority was never fully yours. People who don't care what others think aren't braver than you, they're positioned differently. They move from authority, not approval. So if judgment feels heavy, if opinions feel costly, if perception controls your choices, this isn't a confidence issue, it's a power dynamic. You don't care what everyone thinks. You don't second guess yourself around strangers. You don't freeze when someone with no access to your life disagrees with you. But put you in a room where approval controls opportunity, where access can be revoked, where belonging feels conditional, where one reaction could cost you something. And suddenly, you're measuring every word, replaying conversations, softening statements, anticipating reactions before you even decided what you want. That's not insecurity, that's awareness of consequence. And awareness of consequence only forms when authority is uneven. You care selectively with specific people in specific environments where leverage isn't equal. You don't fear opinions everywhere. You fear opinions where perception has power. That's why the phrase, just stop caring what people think, has never worked. Because you weren't caring emotionally. You were calculating position. Caring what people think isn't about their opinion, it's about your position. Some people are in the audience. Others are on the decision floor. The audience can react, comment, critique, but they don't decide. When you're positioned as a decision maker, opinions become background noise. When you're positioned as observable, opinions feel dangerous. Because spectators feel entitled to commentary when your authority isn't recognized. So you don't stop caring because you become tougher. You stop caring when your position changes. Imagine trying to make decisions while standing on a stage. The lights are on you, eyes are watching, whispers from the seats. You wouldn't feel free, not because you're weak, but because you're exposed. Now imagine being backstage. Same people, same opinions, but you're not performing. You're not visible. You're not awaiting reaction. You're deciding. Caring what people think comes from being kept on stage when you were meant to move behind the scenes. That's not personality, that's positioning. Here's what caring actually does. It keeps you edible. Edible people explain themselves. They clarify tone, pre-justify decisions, soften boundaries. And every explanation delays movement. Delay is leverage. Whoever controls timing controls outcome. So as long as you care, you hesitate. As long as you hesitate, authority stays external. That's leverage. Quiet, unspoken, effective. So ask yourself, who benefits when you monitor perception? The manager who keeps control centralized? The partner who avoids accountability? The system that functions best when you self-edit? As long as you care, you adjust. As long as you adjust, nothing has to change. That's not accidental, that's structure. This is where participation shows up. You soften statements. You say things like, it's just my opinion, or maybe I'm wrong, or don't judge me, but you think you're being polite. But what you're really doing is signaling that your authority is negotiable. And the moment authority becomes negotiable, opinions gain power. That's the loop. Here's what will happen when you stop explaining. Someone will say you change. Someone will call you cold or distant or difficult. Not because you became unclear, but because they lost access to your internal process. They were never entitled to your reasoning. They were accustomed to your availability. That discomfort, that's not failure. That's leverage shifting. Caring what other people think was never about fear. It was about exposure without authority. The moment you exit performance, judgment loses weight. Not because people stop talking, but because their words no longer control timing or direction. Power doesn't argue with opinions, it moves without them. Now you choose. You can stay visible to people who don't decide, or you can step back into authority where opinions don't vote. One keeps you adjustable, the other restores leverage. Quietly, cleanly, permanently. This channel isn't about confidence, it's about power. Who holds it, who reacts to it, and who stops performing for approval. Subscribe if you're ready to leave the stage.